Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We begin from the State House, where President Bola Tinubu has approved key appointments for two federal universities of education, naming Abdulrazak Nokori as Pro-Vice Chancellor and Governing Council Chairman of the Yusuf Maitama Sule Federal University of Education, Kano, and Abdullahi Kodagi as its Vice Chancellor. Tinubu also appointed Yahaya Bunkure as an academic renowned for his expertise in science education as the Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Education, Zaria. He currently serves in the same role as the Saadatu Rimi University of Education in Kano State. The two institutions were upgraded from colleges of education between 2022 and 2023, and under their laws, pro-chancellors serve 4 years, while vice-chancellors serve 5 years. And now moving to the National Assembly, where in a renewed effort to strengthen governance at the grassroots level, the House of Representatives has organized a national retreat and interactive workshop for local government officials across the country. The initiative, in collaboration with the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, seeks to equip council officials with the right tools to bridge the gap between the federal government and the people. Our correspondent, Aniete Patrick, completes the report.
The National Retreat and Interactive Workshop, convened by the House Committee on Delegated Legislation in partnership with the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, is designed to deepen democracy at the grassroots and promote better service delivery. Chairman of the committee, Olufemi Bamishele, in his welcome address, emphasized the critical role of Parliament in ensuring seamless collaboration between all tiers of government for national development.
Focus will be on the bylaw making process. We will delve into strategies that empower local governments to create impactful bylaws that cater for the unique needs of their communities. This is pivotal not only for enhancing local governance, but also for fostering accountability and enriching the lives of the citizens we serve.
Representing the Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Onwusoro Maduka, challenged local government authorities to take ownership of policies that directly impact their communities.
There's need for continuous training of both executive and legislative arms at the local level on legislative drafting, constitutionalism and policy analysis. Collaboration with state houses of assembly. We need to ensure bylaws are in sync with state laws and federal laws to avoid conflicts or duplication.
Similarly, ALGON National Chairman Bello Lawal, through his representative, reaffirmed the commitment of local governments to remain steadfast until they are fully empowered to meet the aspirations of the people.
ALGON will not relent until local governments are fairly empowered with the resources needed to meet the expectation of our people in line with the 1999 Constitution as amended.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, represented by the Chairman House Committee on Hyperdeck, Pascal Abodike, underscored the need for continuous synergy between the federal and local governments for the benefits of the masses.
The Local Government Council to bring the activities of government to the grassroots. The bylaws being made by the Local Government Council are very important to govern people from the rural area. But I must also advise that the enforcement of those laws should be properly looked into.
The retreat brought together officials from the 774 local government areas of the Federation, providing a platform for robust interaction and exchange of ideas. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Let's return to the State House, where President Bola Tinubu has immediately ordered a review of security operations in Katsina State, with a pledge to strengthen the fight against banditry through the deployment of advanced military hardware and surveillance gadgets. Speaking at the State House in Abuja at the reception of a delegation led by the Katsina State Governor Dikko Radda, the president emphasized that Nigeria's security challenges are manageable. Here is Ramsey Agbo's report.
President Bola Tinubu says there is need for security outfits that understand local terrain and culture, adding that the daily feedback on security operations in the state must be provided. He added that his administration is reviewing all aspects of security and would holistically consider creating state police.
I'm reviewing all the aspects of the security. It might be necessary, instead of all this civilian, this Amateko, this, or JTVFT, civilian, that, and we might have to create state police. We are looking at that holistically. We will defeat security. It will be effective. We must protect our children, our people, and our livelihood, and places of worship and places of recreation. They can't intimidate us. On one hand, the forest guard is being empowered.
I'm sure God, Allah in His infinite mercy will be with you.
For honoring the late president, Muhammadu Buhari, with a true state funeral, Masari assured the president of the loyalty of the state.
I'm sure God, Allah in His infinite mercy will be with you. We are assuring you that under the leadership of the governor, Dr. Umar Dikko Radda, Katsina will be delivered in all elections to APC, inshallah.
Waziri of Katsina, Senator Ibrahim Ida, commended President Tinubu's efforts to ensure the timely completion of the Kano-Maradi rail projects and other infrastructures in the state. Ida said the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua International Airport needed an upgrade to optimize its usage.
At this juncture, Mr. President, allow me to point out that despite the state's very limited and meager financial resources, the state government, the Katsina state government, has expended well over 40 billion naira on security assets, training, and other logistic supports for our national security agencies, particularly those domiciled in Katsina. These are much needed funds which could have been judiciously utilized to provide infrastructure and other much needed social services to our community.
With assurance of loyalty from leaders of Katsina State and renewed commitment from the presidency, the review of security operations is expected to pave the way for more decisive action against banditry while strengthening the push for community-driven policing. Ramsey Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu says education is the greatest weapon in the fight against poverty, empowering individuals to overcome financial challenges and build a better future through inclusivity and equitable access. He made these remarks during the reception of Seun of Ogbomosho, Oba Gandhi Afolabi Oladuni Oromogege III at the State House, Abuja. Uyi Agbomofuegbe completes the report.
President Bola Tinubu highlighted the importance of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, a groundbreaking initiative established under the Student Loans Act. The president emphasized that his administration is committed to investing resources to guarantee that every Nigerian child has access to quality education, regardless of socio-economic background. He further noted that the ongoing reforms would not only break the cycle of poverty, but also equip young Nigerians with the skills to drive national development and secure the country's future.
We've established NEL Fund for the students, that no one will be a dropout because of level of poverty. everybody is entitled to education. It's the greatest weapon that you can give to human beings against poverty. That's what we've been doing. We are renewing aggressively our infrastructure. And it's just 2 years. I'm glad to report to you today that the economy is stabilized, the bleeding has stopped, the hemorrhage is gone, the patient is alive, Nigeria is alive, Nigeria is respected, Nigeria is becoming a great business partner to the rest of the world.
Earlier in his speech, Oba Gandhi Afolabi Oladuni Orumogege III commended President Tinubu for his unwavering commitment towards the Nigerian youth. The monarch praised the president's visionary leadership, particularly his focus on youth empowerment, education reform, and socio-economic inclusion. Oba Gandhi Afolabi expressed optimism that the ongoing initiatives would uplift communities and foster a new generation of skilled, confident, and socially responsible Nigerians.
The ASU strike that used to happen, which was a perennial problem, one way or the other, you've been able to tackle it. We have the student thing. Now, the funding that has been given to indigent students who they would probably not have been able to afford it. Now they have access to these funds. And your commitment towards the youth development in this country, we can see it. And we believe that in 2 years, it's amazing the things that are difficult, the things that were the big gorilla in the room that everybody has ignored. But because of your person and the boldness that you have confronted all of them. And we have come to say that your actions are not going unnoticed. And I believe that the difficult times for Nigerians, we are surely seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Additionally, President Bola Tinubu received King Alfred Dietes Piv, the Amayanabo of Tuombras Kingdom, at the presidential villa in Abuja. Uyi Agmofwegbe reporting for Global TV News.
Away from the presidency to electoral matters, where the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and the National Identity Management Commission are stepping up collaboration to improve Nigeria's electoral process through stronger identity management. Now, as part of these efforts, the National Identity Management Commission officials will now be deployed to selected registration centers of the INEC during the ongoing continuous voter registration exercise. Sadia Yakubu reports.
The Independent National Electoral Commission Chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, today received the Director General of the National Identity Management Commission, Abisoye Koka Odusote, and her management team at INEC headquarters in Abuja. Professor Yakubu noted that both INEC and NIMC manage the largest biometric database in the country, stressing that their partnership is crucial in ensuring credibility and accuracy in elections.
Under the leadership of the current Director General, we have engaged at different times with the intention of solidifying our partnership in the area of identity management. As is well known, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, holds the database of citizens for the purpose of elections, while NIMC has the record of citizens generally. Together, our two agencies hold the largest biometric databases of citizens in Nigeria.
On her path, the NIMC's Director General Abisoye Koka said the Commission is focused on harmonizing identity data across ministries, departments, and agencies. She described INEC as a critical partner in achieving credible elections in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda.
And fairness across board. So we are working hand to hand. He's been here longer than I have been, and he has been a great support system in driving the federal government's agenda forward on how do we ensure that we make Nigerians happy, because that's our number one goal, making sure all citizens are happy. Thank you.
The courtesy visit further reaffirmed the two agencies' commitment to work together in deepening identity integration and strengthening Nigerians' democratic process. Sadia Yakubu, Global Television News.
You are watching the live broadcast of the Midday News. When the Midday News returns, Lisbon railway crash kills 15. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back from that break, and if you're just tuning in, this is the Midday News on Global Television. And now to business news, where the federal government says plans are underway to privatize and commercialize 91 public enterprise in a bid to reposition critical sectors of the economy, attract private investment and ensure efficiency in the service delivery. Director General of the Public Bureau of Enterprise, Ayodeji Gbeleyi, disclosed this at a media briefing in Abuja. Business correspondent Kike Lomo Okere has details.
The Director General of the Bureau of Public Enterprises, Ayodeji Gbeleyi, explained that the privatization process will be handled gradually, sector by sector, to safeguard national interest and deliver maximum benefits to Nigerians. According to him, the assets cut across oil and gas, agriculture, aviation, mine and steel, transportation, ecotourism, as well as agencies under Federal Capital Territory Administration. The Director General further reveals that while 35 of the firm will be fully privatized, 57 others will undergo partial privatization. He emphasized that the reform process will be guided by business case analysis, supported by financial, legal, and technical advisors.
The mandate of the Bureau of Public Enterprises, defining which public enterprises to be either privatized, commercialized, and in commercialization, we also talk about concession. Concession is a form of commercialization. So, of course, when we get to that bid, we will cross it. When we get onto the transaction, we will determine the most optimal transaction.
Ayodeji Gbeleyi pointed to the transformation of the telecommunications sector as evidence that privatization can unlock economic potential. He also highlighted ongoing reform in the power sector, which he says are creating new jobs, transferring skills to Nigerian youths, and expanding opportunity in the global markets.
To expect. And it's not all transactions that we sell. In Zungeru, for example, the government concessioned the 700 megawatt hydro power plant. It's not so. So it's like hiring an operator to run it for government. And that operator pays an annual concession fee. The same thing was done with Kainji and Jeva power plants. The same thing was done with Shiroro power plant. So it's not at all time that we sell government enterprises.
With 91 enterprises lined up for reform, the Bureau of Public Enterprises says its goal is to reposition national assets to drive growth, create jobs, and enhance Nigerians' competitiveness in the global economy. Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global Television News.
And now to news making rounds on the international scene, where the United Nations says growing restrictions in Cameroon surrounding presidential elections scheduled for October are raising fears about whether voters can freely choose their candidates. This is coming as President Paul Biya, the world's oldest head of state at 92, seeks a new 7-year term to extend his nearly 43-year in power in an election scheduled for October 12. Uyi Agbomofuegbe reports.
United Nations Rights Chief Volker Turk made a case for a safe and enabling human rights environment that is essential for peaceful, inclusive, and credible elections, stating that this is, however, not the case in Cameroon. Spokesman in the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, Jeremy Lawrence, cited an incident on August 7 when Diodene Yegba, a former senior member of the opposition African Movement for New Independence and Democracy, was escorted off air by security forces 8 minutes into a live television interview.
Recently, a live television interview with a political figure was interrupted by security forces. These developments come following the suspension of 3 civil society organisations and the banning of 2 others in December last year, and restrictions that were imposed on the operations and funding of some civil society groups.
There have also been concerns regarding the exclusion of some political figures from the race, as well as irregularities in voter registration. The report also cited opposition candidates and their supporters who had been intimidated and threatened.
Ahead of the presidential election in October, growing restrictions on civic and democratic space in Cameroon are raising fears about whether voters can freely express their will. We are today calling on the government of Cameroon to ensure an environment conducive to a free, transparent, inclusive and genuine vote. Several gatherings have been banned amid rising restrictions on the activities of opposition political parties in the lead-up to the vote.
Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights said last month Cameroonian security forces had arrested at least 53 opposition supporters who were accused of public disorder, unlawful assembly, rebellion, and incitement to revolt. Uyi Agbomofwegbe reporting for Global TV News.
Away from Africa to Europe, where Portugal's capital, Lisbon, has been thrown into mourning after 15 people died and 18 were injured, 5 critically, when the 140-year-old Gloria funicular derailed and crashed into a building, with early reports pointing to brake failure. Portugal's president expressed solidarity with the affected families, with the government declaring a day of national mourning. Eyewitnesses' accounts suggest that the funicular speed uncontrollably down the city's steep slope before hitting for the impact. And now talking sports, where the Super Eagles have had their first full training session in Uyo with all 23 invited players, including Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, Cyril Dessers, and Samuel Chukwueze ahead of Saturday's crucial World Cup qualifier against Rwanda. The session, overseen by coach Eric Schell, focused on conditioning for new arrivals and tactical ball work as the squad prepares for the must-win 2026 World Cup qualifying match against Rwanda. Away from football to cricket, where Nigeria's female Yellow Greens have crashed out of the International Cricket Council ICC Women's T20 World Cup Africa qualifier after a heavy 10-wicket loss to Zimbabwe, ending their slim chances of advancing beyond the group stage. The result leaves Nigeria third in the group with only 1 win over Sierra Leone, while Zimbabwe and host Namibia advanced to the semi-finals, leaving the Nigerians to settle for classification playoffs. Now that's it on the midday news on Global Television. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.